Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends cloak from the Cloak and Dagger duo as part of the SPDR Build-A-Figure wave. I got mine from Compared Toys, but if you're in the US then you can go ahead and get it from Big Bad Toy Store. There's a link in the description below. And following straight after this review, you will see the Dagger video too. So onto the back of the package, there you can see the rest of the wave. There's a small bio that reads, "A hooded vigilante in the war on drug crimes. Tyrone Johnson uses powers of darkness as cloak." So let's go ahead and get this thing open and take a closer look. So here we have Cloak out of the packaging, and this figure is so much better standalone than I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought that you really needed Dagger to add to this guy to make the pairing just absolutely awesome, but the standalone figure is actually really, really good. And it's partly because this figure is almost entirely made of translucent plastic. So just at first glance, it looks like the figure has a solid cape. You can actually see through the legs there that it's translucent, but if you just look at, just the outside of this guy, it looks like it's just a solid blue and black cape, and then, or cloak, should I say, and then you've got, a black body there, and it just looks like he has translucent hands. Now the figure stands 7 inches tall to the top of that hood there on the cloak, so he's a fantastic size, and the hood itself is actually attached to the head, so when you turn the head, the hood also turns as well, and there's no way of taking that off unless you were going to peel it off, and then obviously it's going to be a loose piece that's never going to sit right again, so I do not recommend that. And before we carry on with the review, I just want to mention that there's a piece in the packaging that's obviously meant just to, keep him secure in there. Kind of has a dual purpose. You can actually make him look like he's floating just by standing him in this, and then he looks like he's hovering ever so slightly off the ground. So if you want to go ahead and do that, then have Dagger stand, next to him, or like coming from out of the cloak or something, not only does it give him even more height, which is fantastic, but it actually makes him look like he's floating, which is awesome, and I'm actually going to use that for that purpose. So the cloak is fully removable. You can go ahead and just unpeg it right there at the clasp, and it comes right out. Now you can remove the head from this guy as well, peg the cloak back together, and then rest the head on top. And then if you have it in, like, I don't know, a shaded area, then you can have Dagger, sort of coming out of the cloak, or just stand her in front of the cloak, and then it's just like a kind of, darkness spectre sort of thing that she's walking out of, and you don't see any of his body at all, which I think is pretty cool. So as for the body itself, it's on one of the newer, slightly bulkier molds, which is really nice, but this whole thing is translucent. You can see it really well in the hands where the plastic's a bit thinner, but in fact the entire thing is translucent, so it's basically a translucent black, or it might actually have a tint of blue in there as well. I can kind of see some bluey purple in there. And just going ahead and pegging that head back in there. Actually, it is made of that same translucent plastic. It's just got the paint on the front of the face right there. In fact, the cheeks are not painted. I'm just noticing this right now. So he actually has, kind of a shadow right there on the cheeks. That effect is actually really, really nice. So here you can see also that the eyes are painted silver. Now, classic cloak, you can normally see him with like orange eyes. Sometimes you see him with green, sometimes you see him as red. It changes from comic to comic, really, so I think silver is a good neutral choice. Now, going over to the cloak, this thing is sculpted really, really nice. Each of these lines is actually raised on there, and overall the detail is fantastic. It's a great size, and it's a great feeling as well. You can still move his arms whilst he's in this thing. Not a hell of a lot. It would have been nice maybe to even have a second cloak that was a bit more open, so it was made so that kind of it can open like this but still be clasped around the neck. But you can see here when I open it up, the light really does shine on through this thing. It looks absolutely awesome. Now, as for his articulation, the head is on a ball joint, looks left and right, up and down on that hinge. The shoulders here, they can move outwards and all the way around. No butterfly joint there or anything. Rotation at the upper part of the arm, a double jointed elbow, rotation and a hinge at the wrist, and both of the hands are in this kind of mystic, spellbinding sort of a pose. Moving on to the torso here, he moves one click back and one click forward. Not all the best, but you don't really utilize it, especially when he's in the cloak anyway, so that doesn't matter whatsoever. Rotation at the waist, hips move out to the side, forward and back, rotation at the upper part of the thigh, double jointed knees, rotation at that calf boot cut right there, and the feet move up and down and have ankle pivot, and all of his joints are actually quite tight. And as you can see, with the cloak on, the head still has a ton of room to move, plus the hood is quite flexible, so we can still get all the same articulation, no problem, which I think that is awesome how they've done that. But the arms, however, you can see you do have a certain amount of flex, so you can move the arms out to a point, but there is going to be a point where it's just going to pop open, so you can't get the arms like, you know, really far spread out, but you can make it at least so that you can see them coming through the cloak. But I think it would have been really nice if you had a second cloak maybe, so that you can really have him, you know, in a nice fighting stance or something. Really, the best pose for this guy with the cloak designed as it is just going to be standing up straight, just like that. So overall, this figure is absolutely awesome. The translucent plastic used gives a great effect, and it's just fantastic. It's meant to obviously be used with the dagger, so I would recommend this figure if you're going to pick it up with dagger. On its own, it's still a great figure, but there's not all that much to it. It's not really going to draw many people in just on its own. It's not an A-list character, but I still definitely do love this thing, and although it may be slightly limited within the cloak, it is, you know, kind of expected, so that's perfectly fine. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to check out more from me, there's some videos on the screen right now, and some links in the description below to my social media. Subscribe for more Marvel Legends. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.